We do understand that in addition to members of the royal family, well, I suppose these are members too. We have an image of two of the Queen's Corgis. Buick and Sandy walked inside Windsor Castle ahead of the committal service. I understand the control room has the images of the Corgis. Not sure. They do not, and when they do, I'm sure we will show you, because as you know...
They have short legs.
They're little.
Short legs.
They used to follow the Queen everywhere.
Everywhere. But that made her, that was something that I've heard someone say it's going to be different. Because when you would go and see her, the sound of the Corgis coming down the hallway of that, and that's something that they're going
for that.
Exactly.
They used to have lots more Corgis. Of course, they were the curse of the servants. The servants used to think, oh, here they come, this pack of Corgis, and they were quite ferocious.
Look at that view. Look at that view.
Extraordinary.
It's extraordinary.
There they are. And this is really sweet because she did actually stop breeding Corgis as she got older, and the reason that was given was that she didn't want to leave any behind after her death. But actually in recent years she actually got some new ones, and I think that's quite a nice sentiment, this idea that she just had to have the Corgis. You can't have Queen Elizabeth without them.
And they're going to be looked after by the Duke of Prince Andrew. I think they were a gift from Prince Andrew and Sarah, and they're going to look after them.
She was very aware, though, Victoria, as you mentioned there a moment ago, that as she got older, that she didn't want to leave behind Corgis. So that's why she became somewhat concerned about breeding them past a certain age.
That's right. She's had many throughout her reign. Her first Corgi, she had them as a child, Corgis that were in the family that her father had, but her first Corgi for herself was a Corgi called Susan, who was given to her for her 18th birthday. Very close relationship there. Susan went on the honeymoon, went on Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip's honeymoon, and so Corgis she's had around more than 30 throughout her reign. They're so synonymous with her. And when we think of royalty, we sort of think of Corgis almost, which is really very strange when you think about it. But they were so much part of her identity. And as I said, it's lovely that she still, even towards the end of her life, was very much still surrounded by these quite young Corgis.
The new king has got Jack Russells. They've got the king queen of two Jack Russells.
But we're going to go to Maggie Rulli because she is so talented in many areas, and we hear that she is an expert when it comes to Corgis. Maggie, is that true?
That's probably the greatest compliment I could ever get, Robin. I think during the Jubilee, I tried to convince everyone I was the Corgi correspondent, so I'm happy that we're following up on it now. But I have to say, what Victoria was saying about Corgis just really hit home for me. I almost didn't realize that they weren't always a part of royalty. I mean, that's how Queen Elizabeth turned them into something that was more than just a dog. They became almost part of her brand. I mean, you see them on cartoons, you see them being sold as memorabilia in shops. There's bobblehead Corgis here in town. And for me, what I really loved about it was that it was something that was so accessible. You know, as a person that grew up with dogs myself, I love dogs, and all of a sudden made Queen Elizabeth this sort of elusive figure, someone you could relate to. She had Corgis. She had dogs that she loved. She would go on walks with them. And all of a sudden, it really broke down this barrier. And in general, I think that's something that so many people loved about Queen Elizabeth, is that, yes, she was so private. Yes, she was queen, the queen, yet she still had this relatability to people. And every now and then you would see it, whether it was her humor or the way she would speak to children, or, yes, those Corgis. For me, it really drove home the point that Queen Elizabeth, at the end of the day, was also a human who had dogs that she loved, and she wanted to have them as a part of her life. And it's something that I could relate to.
I think we can all relate to that, right? Mm-hmm. And Robert was telling us that Jack Russell now for King Charles.
That's right, two Jack Russells, but she didn't only have Corgis. They weren't all purely bred pedigree dogs. She had mixtures of dogs with Dachshunds, so they were called Dorgies.
Yes. I saw where you were going with that. Sorry to steal the punchline.
I think that you're just going past the pony there and the groom. Of course, this is all this areas where she would go out riding in the Windsor Great Park and all around, where she would just have those private moments. And in fact, even this year, she's had several periods of ups and downs. Even this year, she went out riding for the last time. And it used to give her such peace and solace that she would be out there, usually riding with her groom, Usually riding, as Andrew said earlier, just with a headscarf and not having a hard hat. But it was a place where she could actually just relax and think about nothing else.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.